Hello all, TM Zoids here again. We have a lot to talk about, so I'm going to get right back into things. First things first, I wanted to say that we are getting an overlay made for YouTube specifically, so you no longer have to see my stream overlay. I'm just using this temporarily. I figured this is the best overlay out of all the overlays I have, because it gives you my Facebook and Twitter if you wanted to follow me there, and it just tells you my name down in the corner, of course, on the webcam. But I figured you just didn't want to stare and look at my face the whole time, and you'd rather look at League of Legends, and you can see all this stuff scrolling through. Or if I click on different windows, it'd be a little bit more interesting than just staring at my face or seeing my room as a whole. So we are working on a overlay, and maybe in the future actually going to get more people for YouTube videos, and maybe have other people stop by and maybe get on the show or YouTube channel. But to continue on, like I said, there's a lot to talk about, so I'm going to go right into it. The first things first is I came up with an idea that I wanted to share with all you guys on stream a couple days ago, and that was kind of seeing a basic contract from Riot. And what I mean by that, no names, not how much anybody makes or anything to that extent. Just wanting to see the rules and regulations that Riot has set place for a certain player, or all players, I should say, because I'm sure it's a basic contract. So we can see kind of the different rules and things that you can and cannot do during the season or even in the off season. There was a post not too long ago, probably well, actually, it was probably a while ago, a year ago, on Reddit saying or stating that they had a leaked contract, and everybody read it and everybody got an uproar because Riot was trying to control the games. Riot said that you cannot play any other games while under contract, only League of Legends content. And of course, a lot of professional players have shot that down, and in their own funny and creative ways, they've shot it down and pretty much disproven that that was an older contract and not even up-to-date one. But I feel like this would help us for a lot of reasons as a general community. Maybe we would not understand it completely and interpret it how Riot interprets it, but I feel like we can have a basic understanding and we can hold not only the pro players at a higher standard. We can see what they're held at by Riot, and we can kind of hold them into that guideline regulations, and we also can hold Riot and how they treat the pro players and kind of see how overall that you know maybe their wording or something's not completely right, and we can actually help or even support a pro player when he makes a claim. One incident comes to mind where Reginald released Lustboy saying that he was going to be playing in the LCS that week and having all his paperwork done from Riot, because you have to go through a background check and all that jazz to Riot before you're approved to play. Well, Riot said that he was not going to be playing, Lost Boy that is, at the time, and lo and behold, he ended up playing the LCS because he got all his paperwork done and everything was set in stone. So it would just be nice to see like a general contract, just seeing, like I said, the rules and regulations, especially recently with the poaching idea, which we'll be going into a little bit after this segment here. And like I said, with the releasing a pro player too early or too late on team. Also, like I said, you're not going to see everything. According, you have the confidentiality to a person's contract. You're probably not going to see how much somebody gets paid, which is understandable. And also, you're not going to see what the team wants as a whole, the team or brand they support or play for. How many hours they have to stream or shout out their products or who they're partnered with. So I understand you're not going to see all that, but at least you'll see a basic idea or general overall consensus of what Riot wants from a pro player, and kind of see their view and idea, and maybe even approve it in the future. And we can just see a yearly contract of how things have changed and whatnot. Which leads me into my next topic, which was the poaching incident with CLG. I'm not going to go too much into detail about background story, but long story short, CLG was poaching Dignitas players, and eventually got Skara and Zion Spartan from Dignitas to come to CLG. Zion Spartan playing for top lane, and Skara as a coach for CLG. Um, this created a poaching incident, which I wanted to talk about as a whole. But first things first, you had Double If fined, and you had CLG fined, and you don't have Sign Spartan for a week, the first week of LCS, and you don't have Scara for the first 3 weeks of LCS. And as most of you know, that coaches now can help you with the pick and ban phase, and he pretty much cannot help at all. He can't be involved with any of that and guide the team to victory. So CLG is going to be at a little standstill, in my opinion, for at least the first couple weeks. I think they'll be prepared. Um, uh, Scar will probably give them a prep before that, or they'll find some way around that, and from there, CLG will has played on their own before, and I don't feel that it is going to be a big blow and a big disadvantage for CLG, but CLG, like I said, played by themselves before. Were pretty well disciplined. Crumbled at the second split, so I think 3 weeks is not going to be a big deal. They do have a coach now. It is going to hurt the first week, going right into the LCS. It's going to hurt that you don't have your full team and whatnot. But I feel that this is another incident where it is hard to determine what poaching is. I know CLG came forward and said they poached Zion Spartan and pretty much admitted that they were trying to get him to the team, and which was a no-no from Doublelift, and that's why I got fined. But you have to understand what are the fine. There's a fine line between that. I don't, a lot of these players are still friends and they consider themselves friends and they talk a lot. So it is hard to describe which one's poaching, which one is not poaching. If you're talking and saying, "Hey, are you still going to be on Dignitas next year, or are you going to be on CLG next year?" You know, just as a general conversation, because people talk about work, this is their job. This is something that normal people talk about every day. Oh, how's your job going? Or do you like it at this? And as a pro player, you know, there's always talk, and there's always talk in professional sports about if this player is going to move or this player is going to stay. Um, I know people hate relating the sports like football and soccer to esports. I know that's very frustrating, but there are times, these are instances where, there's speculation talk like that, and it is, like I said, it's a fine line that they hit with this poaching, because how do you determine which one they're trying to get to? You're actually taking a player from a team, and one you're just general talk and just general chit chat of friends saying, oh, how's Dignitas going, yada yada yada. Which leads me into my next topic of LCS predictions and how everything's going to go in LCS. First, we're just going to go over the teams really quickly here, just to kind of see how the teams have changed and what teams are going. We have 10 teams now. We should actually talk a little bit about the bracket. The bracket is very important because it shows you how everything's going to be done and ran this LCS. This LCS, you now have points. You have 10 teams. You're going by points. I'm going to show you here really quickly. I'm going to switch overlays here. All right, so as you can see here, in the spring split, first player gets 90, second player gets 70, third split gets 50, fourth 30, then go down. In the summer split, you automatically qualify for Worlds if you get first, and then you get 90 points, and then you get 70 points if you're third. Fourth place, you get 40, yada yada yada. So the second place will go to the tie. If there's a tie in the second place, whoever gained the most points in the summer split will end up be qualified for the second spot in the Worlds. Now, I have a problem with this because I feel like this is unfair to teams. They can't really tell you or determine that a team was not trying or not playing at their, full potential to represent NA, in any case, or EU, of course, any harder or worse than a team that did poorly in the spring split. What do I mean by that? So, say second and third place are tied. They both got, second place got 70 this time. Uh, Third place, or the third place team got first, and then they got 70, and then these people got 70, and then they got second again. So I don't feel like this second place team overall played better this team and should be automatically qualified to hold the second spot for NA LCS. I feel that's kind of lame. I feel like they should at least try and fight for their spot, especially if another team's tied. Because, people have bad games, things happen, somebody's sick, you have subs, like especially with CLG, you don't have your full team, you don't have your full roster, you have visa issues. Of course, this doesn't really happen in NA, but it may happen in EU a bit more commonly. And just overall, it just seems kind of frustrating and upsetting. But over here, why is that not working? I don't know, sorry. So then you scroll down, and then this is how you're going to have your bracket for the rest of the teams. You have the third, fourth, and fifth place fighting for the third spot, third seed in Worlds. I feel like this is good. It's King of the Hill. Your fourth and fifth place fight. The winner of that game will fight the third place and the second place. So third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Sorry, will be fighting. So they climb up. This is good. I don't really have much problem with this. It kind of sucks that these people kind of got like a second. They got their holder, and then they only have to fight 2 games or 1 game, especially for this team up here. I feel like they broke it down, so there's not a lot more, not so many games. But that's what we like to see. We like to see a lot of games. Like to see a lot of competition, especially if things are really close. It's really disappointing, if somebody, just has a bad game here. We saw in the past, you had Cloud9 and you had um, Fnatic. Yeah, Cloud9 and Fnatic in Season 3. And you saw them, this is kind of how they had it for Worlds. And Cloud9 fought and got there, and they picked their placeholder, and they got to fight Fnatic, and they pretty much got 3-0'd from Fnatic, and it was just a big no-no. It was sad to see. And it could be the same way here. It would be sad to see like Cloud9 or Dignitas hold the spot, and then they only have to win 1 game, and they lose it, and they're out. Especially if they worked really hard in the LCS. Like I said, these numbers make it possible for having 4-way tie or 3-way tie. Well, not a 4-way tie, but at least a 2-way tie or 3-way tie if everything goes properly. But like I said, the only big things about the bracket that I don't like is, the person that scored more points in the summer split, and if there's a tie between 2 teams, the person who, like I said, scores more in the summer split automatically gets qualified for the second spot for second seed in Worlds, and then you have the King of the Hill, which will be disappointing at some times because they're trying to eliminate so many games, which is understandable. But it would be sad to see like a good team, especially a team that's fought really well, and just have one bad game or one bad, best out of 5, and they just lose it all. It'd be very sad. But to continue on, so now talking a bit more about the teams, you have Cloud9. Like I said, there's 10 teams. You have Cloud9, TSM, you have Team Impulse, which is formerly LMQ, Team Liquid, which is formerly Curse. You have Team Dignitas. Well, it's not Team Dignitas, it's just Dignitas Chronologic Gaming, CLG. Team Winterfox, which is formerly EG. And you have Team 8, which is a new team from the Challenger Series. You have Gravity, which is formerly Curse Academy. And then there's one more team, Team Coast. So those are the teams. There's no changes to Cloud9. TSM has Santorin now as their jungler. That was the only change that they really had. LMQ got a huge mix up here and things. Top lane they have Impact. They have Jungle Rush. They have mid Jay. I can't say that, so I apologize. Jay is how I say it. It's not right. I understand. I think it's Wow. I don't know. And then ADC was Fusion, and their support is Adrian. Curse, they have Quaz top. I will dominate as the jungle. They have mid Phoenix. So Voyboy left. They have the ADC as Piglet, and their support is still special. So they got a few new people. Their mid lane and their ADC. And Dignitas got a few new players, which I wanted to focus on here. The top is Gamesu, which is actually the sub for Samsung Blue. who actually came to Dignitas now. And then you have an ADC of Core JJ, which was from a professional team, but I'm just going to go more off of what I've seen from his stream. I've seen him stream and he's played ADC. It's hard to judge an ADC from solo queue. Everybody says, man, look at this pro play that, double lift or this person did. And I'm not just saying NA, I'm just saying overall for any solo queue. Even in Korea, I'm not saying that Korea doesn't have a higher standard of gaming, but it's hard to judge somebody when you see them in a solo queue game, especially if they constantly do well. If they're really, really good, so, from what I've seen in his broadcast, because I watched his broadcast last night of him playing ADC, he's a pretty good Corki. He never really did anything stupid or got really caught out. He seems to be not really aggressive player, and I want to see. It's also going to come down to his communication with Kiwi Kid and Dignitas, so that will be a key. But Gamesu came to NA and was dominating in the um, ranked. Like he was like 35 and 4 or 35 and 5 to get to Masters as a top laner, main top laner, which is dominating. He's hungry, thirsty to get up there, be a top of the top. I think he's going to be a good top lane. I think he's underrated. I tried to look for some games of him. I found a YouTube link, but it was pretty old. It was from 2013. And the game they surrendered at 20 minutes, and he was like 3-1, or he was like 1-1-4, something to that extent. And he played Alistair, so Alistair's not in the meta anymore. But I feel like he will hold his own. He will compete with Dyrus. He'll compete with Balls. So I think it was a good pickup on both of those. CLG, we have Zion Spartan now as the top lane. Jungle is Smithy. Link stayed as mid lane, which makes me very sad and upset, but that's okay. Double F ADC and Afro moves to support. Team Winter Fox had a lot of changes. They have Avelion as top lane, Jungle Helios, Pole Vaulter is mid lane, Altac is ADC, and support Imagine, and their sub is Glebe. Just how it is in there. I'm reading off my thing here. That's why I'm looking over here, by the way. We have Team 8, which was a Challenger Series team, which was California Trilols. For the top lane, Jungle is Poopsie Pops, I think that's right, or Porpsy Pops. Is the jungle. Slushy is the mid lane. Form Maple Street is the ADC, and Dodo 8 as your support. Another challenger team, Curse Academy, aka Gravity now. Haunters is top lane. Jungler is Saint Vicious, which everybody seems to be kind of hesitant about. Mid lane is Kane. ADC is Cop, and support Bunny Fufu. Bunny Fufu, and I want to talk about the bot lane. I've ragged on Cop before in my stream, not so much as a YouTube video. I've really not talked about a lot of ADCs on my YouTube videos, which I might do in the future. But Cop and Bunny Fufu, one of the things that everybody says is that Bunny Fufu is just somebody who is clutch on Thresh, but really isn't that great on other supports. I would disagree. I find that his Sona, and he could probably play Soraka and Janna really well, and since Janna has been really annoying and really good, I'm sure you're going to see a lot of Janna. It's not really hard to play a great Janna. I mean, yeah, you could do a little bit better if you're a really good Janna. You could pull out maybe a pro player here or there, but overall, if you're playing Janna, she's just annoying overall. And with Cobb back into LCS, I've complained about Cobb as being a passive ADC. Really just doesn't go for it. Kind of just throws games with Curse. That's probably why he got benched. But he's overall a solid ADC. A lot of people give him crap. They give this whole team crap, even with St. Vicious, we'll talk about a little bit. But they give Cobb so much crap about being this passive ADC and not the ADC that he can be. But he is still a solid ADC. He's pretty consistent. I know he's passive and doesn't go for it all, but not every ADC is passive, and he doesn't always go above and beyond to make a play like Double Lift or even Wild Turtle. He'd rather sit back and kind of just do what he has to do in and out. He's more of a Genja style, and a lot of people give Genja problems, but overall, Genja was a good ADC and he fit that team. Cop, just wasn't in Team Curse. He just didn't fit that niche for what they wanted, especially with Special, which I find Special is a more aggressive support. I'm not saying Bunny Fufu isn't, but you know, Cop and Special just didn't play to that caliber for, being on the same team page. And also as a team game, a cop just fits better in Curse Academy overall. So, and Saint Vicious, hopefully he's gotten over his attitude problems and really wants to play and really wants to climb and be a world champion, and you know doesn't just not care that he doesn't miss smite or whatnot. And he was also known as a top jungler. Thorns mentioned this many times that he was before the end of his career. He was compared to a Diamond Prox. He was there neck and neck, being one of the greatest junglers. And then things just kind of went downhill. He kind of took a break. He didn't care anymore, whatever the case may be. And lo and behold, now he's on Curse Academy. And last but not least, we have Team Coast. We have top Chris. Impaler is the jungler. Jez is mid. And Don't Mash Me is ADC. And Sheep is support. A lot of people are kind of hesitant about Jez's since his performance on Worlds. I feel that he hasn't had too much of a problem with his performance. I feel that if he has a good jungler, which Impaler and him have been doing pretty well together, I think they will have a great impact. Jez's coming to the NA scene will be interesting also, especially since he was really known in the EU side. You shouldn't take their performance from Worlds as their last performance, even though it was, and their biggest performance, and how they compare to everybody. But you have to keep in mind they didn't have their jungler at the time, which is Sevenson, because he got banned for 3 games because of a BM. He was very bad-mannered to the people, and it was his first time on the world stage, and it's a whole different environment that we can never really comprehend until you're on that stage and really playing at that competitive level. So I feel like if he has the great jungler like Impaler to back him up and do what he has to do, I bet you he would be a great impact to mid lane, give people a run for their money. Maybe not as good as Bjergsen this time around, but he will have an impact in the mid lane and do really well. For Sheep as a support, I hear great things about Sheep. I feel like he's going to do really good, being one of the top supports. He could probably compete with Xpecial. He can compete with Boy. He can compete with Aframu. He can go up there. It will really come down to Don't Bash Me and their ADC companions, and maybe they won't be as strong, but you never know. But taking top three, so now I'm just going to tell you my top three because I don't feel like I can really help. And I'll tell you the mid, like who will end up in the mid. So just starting from the top, Cloud9. I think Cloud9 is going to be qualified for Worlds again. Either they qualify in the summer split by getting first, or they will be the second place holder. I'm not telling you in any specific order. TSM, I feel like the spring split, they have a lot to work on. Looking at their performance at IEM, I was not impressed. And if they determine everything on Bjergsen again, it'll be a very long road. They will also finish top three, though. They always pull through. They always do what they need to do to change. They've not missed a Worlds yet. They've been in all four so far, so I think they're going to fight and get to the top. But I was not impressed with Santorin, sorry, in the jungle, and I just wasn't impressed with overall performance with TSM at IEM. Team Impulse, formerly LMQ, I feel like they have a lot, like I said, to work over. Wiz Fusion is a good ADC. Everybody kind of does not like him for whatever odd reason. I am a small fanboy of him. I was noticed him before he joined a team. He didn't have a lot of people on stream, but he always answered questions. He was always just a very relaxed and always focused guy. He really doesn't, um, you know, really go on tilt from what I can see. He doesn't really get angry. He didn't play his best last split, but it was also his first LCS performance, and hopefully team impulse can treat them better, and they have J, so they will also do well. I don't know if they'll take third. They may be fourth or fifth. They might be in the middle of the pack if things go really well. They have impact on top. Like I said, jungle is a rush, so it is very likely. LMQ did come in last season and went 4-0 in the um, 4-0 in the Super Week, so that was very shocking and surprising. But they have a whole new lineup, so I think they're going to work things out. It might turn into another TSM thing where doubtful, but where JYJ will have to pick up the slack and carry the team, which I really doubt. Like I think Impact can make an impact. My jokes are funny. In Jungle Rush can really help bot lane or wherever it needs to help. If he needs to feed JYJ, then that's where he needs to go. But they'll probably fourth or fifth overall. Team Liquid, which formerly Curse, no offense to Piglet or Phoenix is the mid lane, but I don't think they will finish the top three either. They will be in the middle of the pack also, maybe fifth or fourth. I say this because I feel I will dominate in Quaz. Quaz is an all right top. I will dominate. So okay, jungler. He was doing all right last season. He was pretty well. I will dominate, but overall, I don't see them as being a top three contender. Only because uh, you know because Piglet is there doesn't mean that all of a sudden they Curse has this complex, or Team Liquid I should say, not Curse. Team Liquid himself has this complex of buying these great players from wherever. They had Edward as a great support and that didn't work out, and then they buy Piglet, and everybody gets his hype, and everybody thinks they'll do well. And I just don't. I don't. They never finish where they're supposed to finish. Team Dignitas, they're known for their streakiness. They win a bunch of games, they win a bunch of games, they win a bunch of games, and then they go downhill. They go downhill, and they go down pretty hard. They go crashing, burning down. But I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They're going to be the third seed. And like I said, because from what I've seen from GameSu and bringing Core JJ, I think changing up the roster and having Cutie Pie kind of sit out now, and having no longer having Zion Spartan and GameSu being having his experience from Korea and being a sub for Samsung Blue, which was one of the top two Korean teams out there. I feel that he could bring a lot of knowledge to the team, and he can actually help and guide Dignitas to a greater place. And Crumbs has been actually really well in the jungle. I mean, him and Meteos, if you had to pick two junglers last time, it was him and Meteos that were dominating the jungle last split. So I'm going to put them as third seed for my top three. So it has Cloud9, TSM, and Dignitas. CLG, same thing. I feel like they're going to really struggle in the spring split. Not having Zion Spartan for the first week and not having Scar for the first 3 weeks is going to really put them a damper. They can fight their way, and they're really good. Their bot lane's pretty solid. I'm not impressed with Link. Link has not gone above and beyond the hype that he gets. He's really hyped up, really overhyped. But they kept him for whatever odd reason, if it's the friends or, he really proved himself to mid laner and he's really trying. Whatever the case may be, Xmithy is a good jungler, and Zion Spartan, like I said, can carry top. It's possible. But Zion's going to have a lot of competition this year. He's got Dyrus, he's got Balls, GameSu is coming in here. He's also got to deal with Hauncers from top lane, from Curse Academy. And I feel that they're going to struggle, so they're going to be in the probably middle of the pack. I'll put them in the middle of the pack also. Winter Fox, I want to see them do well or do better than they were. Altec is a good ADC. I've seen him play ADC. He can play really well. Paul Bilter has been playing really amazing. Like I said, in solo queue, and a lot of people hype him up and being this good guy in Korea and just dominating and making all these plays. But they really need to come through on the stage and really come through and go above and beyond. Helios is also a good jungler, so they have a possibility. I'm not too sure about their top, and Imagine as their support, so I'm going to put them at the middle of the pack too. Probably at the lower end of the pack, probably seventh or eighth, maybe. If they work everything out and everything goes well, and Avion competes with the top laners. They could do better, but right now I don't see much. Team 8, these are probably going to be one of the people that is at the bottom of the pack, like really at the bottom, like 7 through 10. And I say this not because of Maple Street or anybody, whatever reason. I don't hate the new teams, but Team 8 just, their new team, they're probably the newest team. Maple Street's in here, and Dodo 8 is alright. Sushi has to go up against some great mids, Jezzes and Link if he pulls through all the time, and Birgeson and Pole Vaulter. They're just really gonna have struggle and really gonna have to fight as an underdog, and I just feel like this team's gonna suffer. Uh, Team Curse Academy, aka Gravity, is going to finish, I feel, above Curse. They have a little bit higher chance. I feel it comes down to really Saint, really. Saint doing not Saint things. What I mean by that is not caring. I want him to really take the game serious and really want to climb. I feel like Cops is very persistent, consistent ADC. Bunny Fufu is also very persistent ADC. And I feel that overall they will do better and do well. They've really fought hard and they've been playing really well in the Challenger Series. And they're just ready, they're hungry, and this is good. And it's good to see, and I hope to see them like fourth or fifth. I want to see them take the spot. It's possible. It's very possible for a new team. And then you have Team Coast. Team Coast, you have Jezzes, Don't Mash Me Sheep. I feel like this may be a team that looks really good on paper, but kind of suffers overall. Coast had a really hard time last split, and this split, like I said, it comes down to Jezzes and Impaler, the jungler. If they don't mash well or they don't do well, it's going to be a really long time for Kuros. Sheep is good at support. Don't Mash Me is an alright ADC, but they might be outplayed a lot. Maybe to higher lanes like Turtle and Lustboy and Afromoon Double Lift, and then you also have Special and Piglet now. I just feel like they're going to be a very difficult lane to go through. And top Chris, like I said, he has to go through a lot of tops to do so. So they're going to probably finish at the bottom of the pack. But that is it. Those are the 10 teams. I know I said probably a few people that are going to be third or fourth, and they can't all be third and fourth, and they all can't be fifth or sixth. But those are my predictions. So you got TSM, LMQ has a possibility. They're our new team, so it is possible. I said it comes down to their bot lane, really. You have Cloud9, the top three, and you have Dignitas. So really the top four would be Cloud9, Dignitas, LMQ has a chance again, and why can't I think of the name? TSM, Cloud9, LMQ, and Dignitas. Yeah. So those are my predictions. This is a really long video. I apologize. We're at 32 minutes. I'm going to stop ranting now. I talked about a lot. Thank you all for watching. Like I said, I'm going to have a new overlay soon, hopefully. And I will see you guys next time. If you want, you can follow me on my Facebook and Twitter, which are right there. I could also put the links down below. If there's any questions or comments that you want to make, leave a comment down below. If you want, share this video. It's up to you. I don't consider myself a famous journalist or any kind of journalist expertise. This is all personal opinion. And I will see you all next time. That's all, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.